Hey everyone, it's Kai from Cool Collectibles back again for another review. This time it's the Storm Collectibles E.Honda from Street Fighter V. For a place to get all your collectibles, click the link in the description below to head on over to Big Bad Toy Store. They ship worldwide, so definitely check them out. Alright, I told myself when I started collecting the Storm figures that I would only get into their Ultra Street Fighter 2 series of figures, but when I saw this Street Fighter 5 version of Honda, I just couldn't resist, particularly when he is in his classic colors and outfit. Now I guess they are releasing the Ultra Street Fighter 2 version of Zangief, and I think they've teased Balrog as well this year. So I think they will end up doing most of the core characters for Street Fighter 2, but they release them so slowly these days that I guess I couldn't resist getting this one as well. But just a quick look at the packaging. Same sort of window box style that they've got with all of these figures. Nice bit of game art there. I think that's his Street Fighter 5 outfit there, which I'm glad I didn't, or they didn't release that version, I don't think. And you get all the various poses and so on. But we'll go through the articulation a bit later. But people have said that it's limited in quite a lot of ways, but I'm not sure if it is. But I'll check it out through the review. But if I can get it into some of these poses, I'll be happy enough, I think. Accessories wise, it comes with his, I think it's his, I don't know what the term is in Street Fighter 5, or if his Ultra version from Street Fighter 4 of that Ultra move. I am a little bit disappointed it doesn't come with an accessory that shows his 100-hand slap, and I'm hoping if they do a Street Fighter 2 version that it includes that 100-hand slap sort of accessory that gives that illusion of him doing that move. It comes with the stand, which I think all of the figures come with, and I think the only reason you would use this is to have him in the air, either doing his sort of ramming head move. I'm not actually sure where the stand would go, to be honest, where it plugs in. There's no hole up his butt or anything like that that I can see, so I'm not quite sure exactly how you're meant to connect that. I'm not sure. I don't think it even came with any instructions, so I guess you might have to use some of the other pieces on the other figures to have him sort of laying on top of the stand or something like that in his ram head move. The head sculpts, I do love the way Storm provide these swap out head sculpts. They're very nicely done. I like, my favourite's probably this Screaming sculpt, which I'll probably end up using in the display. I guess with the Ultra Street Fighter 2 versions, they typically come with at least one more, 4 in total, with the loser head sculpt. Which I guess is specific to their Street Fighter 2 series for those end screen, if you're familiar with the game. So hopefully they do that as well. But these ones, the eyes are really cleanly done. It even seems to have like a little bit of gloss in them, which really makes them stand out. I like the facial tattoos on there. There's no color bleed or anything like that. And the hair sculpt is just really nicely done in that sumo style bun. So beautiful work there, and I guess out of the box it comes with that stoic style head sculpt. But for a bit more expression in the display, I definitely will be using that Screaming sculpt. With the hands, I'm not sure if I might have to go back and double check the other figures, but these hands seem to be a bit more, the material seems to be softer plastic, which I don't necessarily mind. I guess it certainly helps to swap them out if they're a bit softer. The paint app is a little bit flat. I would have hoped for a bit more shading or something like that in the hands, but overall they're not too bad. So you get these chopping style hands, then you get his grasping hands, I guess, for those poses that he's grabbing the opponent, and I guess he also has his 100-hand slapping style hands. These ones seem to be painted a little bit darker on the other side, but overall still fairly nice sculpts. But that's pretty much it for all the figures, so we'll just get onto the figure. Hold on. Overall, I love the way this figure looks on display. The paint application is really nice. The body proportions overall are pretty nice. He was always a chunky character, being a sumo, of course. And I think the overall aesthetic of the figure, the way they've used the soft vinyl type materials, even on the upper chest area here, all the sort of soft materials. I think they've done a really nice job in capturing that aesthetic, but also allowing for some of the articulation. I was worried about when I was seeing all of these seams whether or not there was going to be a lot of paint scraping, but because of the soft materials, there's really no risk of that at all. So I like the way they've done that. With the head here, plenty of articulation. I don't think there's any issue with sort of neck bends. I think you can. There is a joint up the top there, so you can get his head into some of those quizzical expressions of his. You can have it bending down, so you can get it into some fairly imposing poses as well, depending on how and which head sculpt you use. The shoulder articulation, there is that typical butterfly there, which is quite nice, and it doesn't have too many gaps, even on the back here. So I love the way they sort of reveal some of the musculature there. Arm goes out a little bit higher than that, I thought, but that's not too bad. I guess straight out, I think you can get a little bit more if you just bend that down a little bit, and there was an extra click there, so you can get it out at least 180 degrees on both sides there. The elbows, there is a double hinge or a double joint there, but because of the bulkiness of the sculpt there, you can pretty much only get it to about 90 degrees. But I like the way that all feels out. No sort of major gaps or anything there. The wrist here, usual articulation. I think they've given a bit more space there for some of the curling poses. There is a bit of gappage, but nothing too major to complain about there. With the torso, I like the fact that this upper part sort of moves. You sort of break the seam there, but I guess you can only do so much. But you can get quite a bit of rotation. There is I think there is a bit of ab crunch or a torso crunch in there, a little bit, so you can tilt him back quite a bit. It reveals a bit of a gap, but in most poses, I guess if he's doing that belly flop, you might want to do that and try and adjust it to close the gap. But overall, it looks pretty good. And I think there is a waist swivel. I'm not sure if there is a tilt in that hip, to be honest. I think there is a bit of side by side, but not too much motion that I can feel, and I don't want to snap anything under there. But at least there's a bit of rotation. But the top of the torso does a pretty good job of that. This sort of kilt thing or whatever it is that he wears in that classic style, it's all soft vinyl type material. You can see his red undies under there. Or his nappy or whatever you want to call it, and you can see his chunky thighs as well. So I love the sculpt of that though. I think with that split there, it doesn't hinder the articulation too much, so he can spread his legs out quite far, which is pretty good for a chunky figure. Front and side motion, you can sort of get it up. It is a little bit squeaky, so you can get it up a little bit, like he's stomping or he's doing that sumo stance. There is a double jointed knee. The top of mine feels a little bit tight on this side, but this side I think is a little bit better. But again, it's only about to 90 degrees anyway, but at least it doesn't look too bad when he's doing that sort of pose. With the ankles, you get it does feel a little bit tight. You can get some ankle rocking motion there. I am a little bit worried about paint scraping around the ankle. I think on my Sagat and I think the Ryu and Ken figures as well, you just need to be really careful about scraping the paint off the bottom edge of that as you rotate the foot, and when you sort of move his foot up like that to get that sort of down look. You just need to be careful not to scrape too much or any of the paint on the back end there. But overall, as you could see there, you can get him into some decent articulation with the feet. It does have a foot flex point there, which is okay if you're doing some sort of walking pose, but it does break the sculpt up a little bit, but I guess that's a decent option, and no one's going to have that sort of facing on the bottom. So I guess that's a decent enough option for some walking poses. But that's pretty much it for the figure. Overall, I think it looks pretty damn good for an E.Honda figure. I think it's the first E.Honda figure that I've ever got in my collection. They might have done one in, I can't remember what that company was called, Soto Toys or something like that. I don't think NECA ever did one in their Street Fighter series. And I think Bandai and their SH Figure Arts certainly haven't announced one either. And that series seems to have died since they released their Sagat figure. So I'm definitely glad that Storm is taking up these Street Fighter figures. And hopefully they continue on and complete at least the core characters from Ultra Street Fighter 2. But that's pretty much it. I'll take some photos with the other characters and post them up on the Facebook page, so hopefully you can head over there as well and check out the Cool Collectibles Facebook page, and give this video a like and subscribe if you can. I've got some more Lego reviews coming up, and hopefully some more 1/6 scale figures coming up in the next month or so. So hopefully you can stick around for all of that, and until then, thanks again, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers. Bye.